Hello everyone, welcome back to our Bible study. Thanks for joining us today. We're talking about Genesis chapter 33. And if you would like the free PDF handout that comes with this study, you can download it for free on our website. There's a link already down in the description below. Also, there's a book called What is the Bible that if you're just getting into Bible study and you're interested in just learning some of the foundational information, that book might help you, so check that out as well. Genesis chapter 33. When did the events of this chapter take place? Well, the exact dates of Jacob's return to the land of Canaan are not known for certain, but I think we can get within a good time frame of about 20 years. I'm going to place this between 1745 BC and 1725 BC. Our major characters in this chapter are two brothers. We've talked about them before, Jacob and Esau. Jacob had been living up in Haran, way up north of Canaan, for about 20 years, and now he's returning to meet his brother. His brother's name was Esau, and the last time that Jacob and Esau were together, Esau was actually planning to kill Jacob because Jacob had stolen the blessing that rightly belonged to him, and he had deceived their father into giving it to him. So at least last time they saw each other, they were on a bit of thin ice. Now, as we consult our map, we already mentioned that Jacob had been living in Haran. You might want to check out the map on the last PDF to get some more information as to where that was. Esau lived in a place called Seir, later become known as Edom. And after reuniting with Esau, Jacob would go to a place called Succoth and a place called Shechem, and both of those are on the map. I've broken this chapter down into just two sections for our outline. The first section is verses 1 through 11. Jacob reunites with Esau after 20 years apart. So after being blessed by God in Genesis chapter 32 and having his name changed from Jacob to Israel, Jacob prepared to meet Esau, and he saw that Esau was coming to meet him with 400 men. Now, he didn't know Esau's temperament. He didn't know if he was still mad at him for stealing his blessing 20 years before. So Jacob divided his family into groups. And that way, if one was attacked, the other group may be able to escape. And he put Rachel and Joseph at the back of the groups because they were his favorite. He then went ahead of his wives and his children, and he bowed to the ground 7 times before Esau. And the good part of the story is that Esau had forgiven him. It says that Esau ran up to him, embraced him, and kissed him, and the brothers cried at their happy reunion. Jacob then introduced his children and his wives and his household to Esau, and they all came before Esau and bowed. Jacob gave Esau the present that he had prepared that we talked about in the last chapter. Esau tried to reject it. He said, look, I have enough. I don't need it. But Jacob insisted, and so Esau kept the gift. And then our second section, verses 12 through 20, the journey to Seir. After reuniting, Esau invited Jacob to his home in Seir. Jacob told Esau to go ahead because he needed to go a little bit slower than Esau's group because he had children and women and animals with him. So Jacob then journeyed to a place called Succoth, and he built a house there and he built shelter for his livestock. Later, Jacob went to a place called Shechem and purchased a piece of ground on which to erect his tent from a group of people known as the sons of Hamor. We'll talk more about Hamor in the next chapter. And while he was in Shechem, the Bible tells us that he built an altar there at his camp, and he called the altar El Elohi Israel. So after a couple chapters of bad family relationships, here we get to see some relationships patched up, which is nice. Now, let's talk about our application. Forgiveness will bring peace to your soul and resolution to your problems. You know, Esau could have held a grudge for 20 years against his brother because of what he did to him, but that grudge would have been toxic to Esau's soul, and it would have brought war to his household upon Jacob's return. We harm no one more than ourselves when we withhold forgiveness from people who genuinely ask for it. And as Christians, we forgive people in light of the forgiveness that's been extended to us by God through Jesus. The more we appreciate the forgiveness that God has given to us, the quicker we'll be to forgive others who sin against us.